Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I hope everybody's doing well. Today, we are jumping into the war zone. That is the best way to describe the website that we are going to be visiting today. Reddit. It is either full of all the random information that you need at 3 in the morning when you can't sleep and you can't find it anywhere else. So you just change your Google search to add the word Reddit at the end. And then you find like 9 obscure posts from like 14 years ago that have your exact issue. Or else somebody says something totally not controversial and it gets met with about 800 responses that are totally controversial, and then arguing ensues. So anyway, I've gathered 4 stories from the Am I the Asshole subreddit, and we're gonna jump into them and determine who is the asshole. So let's just jump right on into it. Am I the asshole for secretly teaching my niece manners because my sister's raising her to be free? My sister, 33, is into this weird parenting thing where she lets her daughter Riley, who's 7, do anything she wants. She calls it gentle parenting. I don't like the gentle parenting thing. But honestly, it feels like there's no rules at all. Riley screams at strangers, throws food at people, talks over everyone, barks at waiters. Yep, that happened. And my sister just smiles and says she's just expressing herself. And things like, I don't want to limit her personality. I, 27, babysit her maybe twice a month. After a few times of getting food thrown at me and her yelling at my face, I decided to start teaching her some basic manners, like saying please and thank you, waiting your turn, not hitting people, that kind of stuff. I didn't make a big deal out of it, just small things while I watched her. Thing is, she didn't fight it. First time I asked her to say thank you, she just said okay and moved on. Next time, she asked me if being polite makes people like you. Another time, she said, I don't yell with you. That one kind of hit me. Last week at dinner, she corrected my sister and said, you forgot to say please. My sister flipped out. She said, I'm colonizing her daughter's mind and teaching her how to be submissive to authority or whatever. She banned me from babysitting and made this long Facebook post about how I undermined her parenting. Now all of her crunchy mom friends are in the comments calling me controlling and toxic. Now Riley keeps asking me when she can see me again. My mom is on my side. Her husband's staying out of it. I kind of feel bad, but I also don't. Just don't want my niece to grow up acting like a psycho in public. Am I the asshole? No, that one is, I think it's becoming all too common these days. Like, people just let their kids run around like they're wild animals. And they figure that if they do anything to try and stop them from being themselves, then they're being a bad parent. But I'd say it's the total opposite. When you're just letting them free range and they don't know what rules are, they don't know what the word no means, yeah, you're probably being the bad parent. So sorry if you're watching this and that's your parenting method. The original poster here, not the asshole, he's doing the right thing. I can't believe they would even be getting mad at him for trying to teach a kid manners. Pretty ridiculous. Let's continue on. The next story I got here is, am I the asshole for basically telling my in-laws this is my house, if you don't like my rules, get out? First off, I don't think I was wrong, which has infuriated my girlfriend. I, 25, recently moved into my house. My girlfriend, 27, and I had a little housewarming. Her family, my mother, and a few of our friends. We were eating outdoors and the kids had their own table. My girlfriend's nephew, who's 8, knocked over a jug of dilute. I was at the table when it happened and it was clearly an accident. He was very polite and apologized. He was a little upset, but I just laughed it off. His father came over and I was shocked at how much his father gave it out to him. I told him it was only an accident, etc., and he kept going. I felt really guilty for not stopping it. He ran over to the corner of the garden and started crying. His father went back to the table and said what had happened, and his wife said he deserved that. He should stay there for a long time or something along those lines. There was almost a snigger from some of her family. Anyway, I went over to the boy a couple minutes later. I gave him a bar of chocolate. He was still crying. He said sorry again. I gave him a high five and taught him a high five I used to do when I was a kid. His mother came over and said, do you mind not talking to my son? He needs to think about what he did wrong, and he needs to do that alone. I took her and her husband aside and said, this is my house. If you want to upset your kid, don't do it here. If you don't like it, get out. I swear the reaction that followed was insane. They went back to the table saying it. My mom said, never holding back, "Didn't I raise a great son? He's spot on to not let bullies in his house," which erupted it even more. My girlfriend spoke to me in private and asked me to apologize to them. I said no. I stand by what I said. This part I regret a bit. I told her I think less of her for even asking me to apologize. Ooh, that's a big bad one. He should not have done that. That was a horrible thing to say. But I guess like in the heat of the moment, sometimes you don't think exactly as clear as you should, especially when you don't think you're doing anything wrong. But I digress. Let's just finish reading this one up. This one's a pretty interesting one. A mate of mine and his son kicked ball with the boy and I. He actually gave me a hug. I don't normally do hugs. He hugged me tightly for a couple of seconds. I really could go on about the drama, but in short, her family thought I was wrong. I was getting little digs, etc. My girlfriend's friend came up privately and said I was in the right to step in. My girlfriend is still pushing for me to apologize. I still don't think I did anything wrong. I didn't tell them how to parent, but I told them to leave if that's how they wanted to. If I'm being completely honest, I didn't say this. I'm not sure if I'd want kids with a family like that. Long story short though, aggro over spilling flavored water. So that one was a longer one. There's a bit to unpack there. And just like the first one though, it just kind of, you know what? It's not even just the first one. It's from when I was scrolling through this whole subreddit, probably like 90% of it is just people arguing about family drama. And a lot of it comes down to like usually in-laws with like the new parents and like trying to tell them how to do things, but not really actually giving any good advice. And people are just mad because they're like, I don't want to be told how to do things I'm already doing. I don't know. Best thing I can put that one into perspective with. They're way too strict, and I would have probably been pretty uncomfortable like witnessing somebody do that at my house as well, where they're gonna go make the kid cry in the corner in front of everybody over spilling some damn juice. So definitely not the asshole, like other than with what he said. He shouldn't have said that to his significant other. But other than that, no, the parents were assholes. You did the right thing. You don't want that in your house? That's fair. It's your house. Yeah, no, if they don't like it, they can leave. It's pretty simple. But let's move on. I only got 2 more to go through here. So, am I the asshole for bringing a much older guy to Easter dinner after my dad left my mom for someone close to my age? I, 18, moved when I was 15 when I got into a boarding school abroad. When I was 12, my dad, who was 45, cheated on my mom, who was 43. With a woman who is 26. I hate that, just like all the age calling. But anyways, the woman 26, who was 20 at the time, they ended up divorced, but he's been with her ever since. She's only a few years older than me, and for the past few years, she's been at every family holiday. She's clearly only after his money, but he's too stupid and stubborn to understand. This year for Easter, I flew back home and asked a friend of mine who's 38 to come with me and pretend to be my boyfriend for a few days back at home. After dinner, my dad pulled me aside and told me he felt uncomfortable with the situation. I told him I didn't do anything wrong and that after him, love has no age. He told me that I ruined everyone's Easter by being selfish and bringing someone his age to dinner. Pulled the old Uno reverse card. Anyway, I flew back to school, but now I'm getting messages from a few relatives saying I should apologize to my dad and break up with my boyfriend. I haven't responded, and I don't think I'm wrong because he's made my life very uncomfortable since the moment he cheated on my mom. It's a little short one. That's a bit of a wild one. I like it. The Uno reverse. You know, you want to date someone my age? Well, I guess I'm going to do that to you now. But the audacity to say that ruined everyone's Easter, like, it's pretty minor. It's not like it's hurting anybody. Like, yeah, maybe it's a little uncomfortable, but I don't think it's ruining anyone's whole day. But yeah, I like that one. That's good. That's the kind of petty shit I like. Next one. Our last story. We have been through 3 that have been mostly they're all family drama. So I've saved this last one because it's not family drama. Am I the asshole for getting a disabled lady charged? I don't believe I am the asshole, but a friend disagrees. Not in the USA. Throwaway also. I had surgery on both my legs after an accident. It was for both ankles and my left knee, with the left leg being substantially more serious. The recovery meant that I was in a wheelchair for about 5 months. My right ankle recovered enough to be able to drive myself around after a month or so. I ended up being given a temporary disability card to help with the wheelchair. The problem comes when my daily driver is a manual, so I can't shift gears. However, I had a second car, a Toyota Supra. Beautiful car. I love those cars. I've had it for a donkey's year. It's automatic, so I could drive it at this point. It's not comfortable or easy, but I can get around in a pinch. Trouble comes when I go to meet with friends for food. I park in a disabled parking bay, placard displayed, and begin to haul my chair out and set it up. Credit to anyone who does this daily. A lady approaches me from an adjacent disabled park and says that I shouldn't park here. So I explain that I have a temp permit due to my legs and I'm well within my rights. I was being as reasonable as I could. She does not like this and starts screaming that I probably stole the placard, and that if I can drive my racer car, then I can park somewhere else and leave the disabled parks to people truly disabled like her. Oh, she's the gatekeeper of disability? Like, nobody can be as disabled as me, and if you're not allowed to park in a disabled spot. I don't care how bad you're disabled. Anyway, from then on, I ignored her. I'm not going to change her mind anyhow and jump into my chair and go grab some food. About an hour later, from the window of the restaurant we were at, I see this lady walking away. On the way past my car, she empties onto my car what looks like one of those glass soy sauce bottles at Japanese restaurants, and once empty, she throws the bottle on my hood and continues on to another store. Friends and I see this and fly back to the car. Sure as shit, there's soy sauce everywhere and a new fist-sized dent in the hood. I take her license plate down, call the police non-emergency line, and they had someone close who arrived in about 10 minutes. The police take my statement about the whole situation, including her going off at me to begin with, and the new dent in my otherwise straight car. She admitted to taking and throwing the bottle to damage my car, and I have about 5 witnesses. So the cop asked me if I want to press criminal charges. I know it'll make it easier for me to get my vehicle repaired via insurances, so I say yes. The lady was ticketed pending a court date. She ended up getting charged, has to do anger management course, and had to pay the repair costs. I feel as though I was in the right getting her charged. I did nothing wrong. I acted within the law and was respectful. However, a friend was angry after I told him, saying I was making a disabled person's life harder than it already is. She was probably sick of people parking in parks reserved for people with the need and was lashing out. Plus, I hardly explained myself to her. He said that it's just a dent in my car and doing nothing to ruin someone's life over. I do see his side, but I didn't force her to do any of this. Am I the asshole? Okay, first and foremost, if you got the placard and you legitimately have it, there's no issue. You should always be allowed to park in the disabled spot. If you have the card, you have an issue where you could use it. And obviously, if you do have okay mobility and you see somebody pulls up with a mobility van and they need a wheelchair and all that extra room to get the chair out, yeah, then obviously if you're capable of walking from a non-disabled spot, well then probably better off to move. But in this case, he's got a wheelchair, he's getting it set up. She was not so disabled that she was able to go walk around, go pick up a damn bottle of soy sauce from who knows where, and then walk back over and vandalize his car. I don't think she's as disabled as she was saying she was. She just wanted to get angry. It was a Karen, a wild Karen. Yeah, I don't care. Your friend can say that you're making their life hard. Just because you're disabled doesn't give you the right to do something like that. You shouldn't be exempt from the law. If I go and vandalize someone's car, I'm going to get in trouble for it. I think that was totally right of them to do, and I don't disagree at all. I would have flew off the handle if I seen that happen to my vehicle. But that's our 4 stories from Reddit. I'd hope that you guys like this. I don't mind scrolling through Reddit every once in a while, so maybe if I see some more stories and this video is kind of well received, maybe I'll do some more Reddit content in the future. So anyways, that'll be it. I hope you guys all have a lovely day, and I will catch you guys in the next one.